Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a shit show right now. Like, really. The forums are going nuts. Everything's just going nuts right now. That's right. Breaking news: Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were disqualified from the United States Grand Prix. And why were they disqualified? Basically, with Formula One cars, what they do is they put a plank of wood underneath the bottom of the cars. That way they can check the ride height so that you're not breaking regulations, basically. And what has happened is they did an inspection of Leclerc's car and Hamilton's car. It doesn't say if they did inspections on anyone else's car, but I would like to actually see if they did inspections to other people's cars. But anyway, so basically, this plank of wood, they measure it at the end of the race and make sure that the car wasn't too low. Because the lower you are, the more downforce you have, the faster you can go into corners, the faster you can drive, basically. And the lower you are, the more advantage you have. But Formula One also has that it's got to have basically a minimum ride height. So we will look at this real quick. This is from the Formula One website. And the skid's located in area, whatever that is, were found to be not in compliance with Article 3.5.9 of the Formula One technical regulations. Basically, what happened in the race was Lewis Hamilton came second. It was actually a pretty decent race. Red Bull didn't take it majorly like they usually have. But basically, the team sent a representative over. And I had an itchy back. And basically, they said, look, it was a sprint weekend. We didn't have the time to work on the cars after the sprint. Normally we do, because normally we just do practice qualifying. And Coda is a really bumpy track. Which is why I want to see if they checked more than those two cars. Because, Daniel Ricciardo. So basically, like, as I said, I want to see, did they check every car? Did they check multiple cars? Did they just check those two cars? That's what I want Formula One to come out and tell us. I want Formula One to come out and say, hey, so we checked all the cars. Or we checked the top 10. And these were the only two cars. Because the thing is, you got to look at, if it was the track, if that was the case, then George Russell and Carlos Sainz should have equal wear. So should Max Verstappen, who won. So should Daniel Ricciardo, who came, I think it was 17th. I don't know, anyway, Daniel Ricciardo was like the last of the running cars. Anyway, they should be able to say, look, Daniel Ricciardo's car didn't have the issue. Yuki Tsunoda's car didn't have the issue. Yuki Tsunoda had the fastest lap. Final lap, fastest lap, great lap. Sergio Perez, they should be able to say, hey, we checked Sergio Perez's car. Sergio Perez's car was good. As I said, Verstappen's car, they should be able to come out and be like, car 1, this was that. Car 2, this was that. Car 3, this was that. Car 4, that was that. Because otherwise, the forums right now are a shit show. And I mean, it's an absolute shit show. It is just toxic as hell. I mean, it is getting back to like 90s level of toxicity. It really is. I mean, it used to be back in the day that if you went for one team and not another, and then one of your friends went for the other team, and it was just, vitriol. But I think that's one of the things right now that Formula One needs to do. Is Formula One needs to come out and they need to say, hey, we checked the other cars. Otherwise, this is just going to look like an attack on Hamilton and attack on Leclerc. I mean, Leclerc, I really, he's a good driver. I sort of think Ferrari is wasted on him. Just personally. I do think Sainz is the better driver for that team. I do think Hamilton may be past his prime. Especially when you look at, although Russell seems to buckle under pressure. But anyway, so that's breaking news right now is the skid board on those two cars was worn too much. And basically they got disqualified. And this is like the first time in like a long time that I have seen cars get disqualified after race. I think there was like one a while back where they couldn't get enough fuel or something. They couldn't get enough fuel for testing or something, and they disqualified them or put them back some paces or something. I can't remember. It was a while. It really was. Oh, and do you like all my tabs? I really gotta start closing those down. I really do. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, leave me a comment down at the bottom. Do you think that this is an attack on Mercedes? An attack on Hamilton? Or do you just think this is the FIA following the rules that the FIA has set? I just realized my camera was really off kilter. Like, really off kilter. But yeah, let me know. Do you think that in a situation like this, every car should be checked and the list put out? And showing who is within regulations and who isn't? Because the thing is, if it comes down to it's just those two cars, and conspiracy theory, Lewis Hamilton this weekend has shown speed and that since he has not, basically since like 2001. And they came out of nowhere to be like probably the fastest on the track at one point. And it was like old school Mercedes. But at the same time, I mean, for them to have, like, they were sitting about here all season. Actually, they were sitting about here all season. And then all of a sudden, they're up here. In like one weekend. 2 weekends, maybe. Although Coda has had work done, so it could be bumpy. But at the same time, as I said, we need to look at, did they check the other teams? Because if every other team is fine, it's just those two cars, then the whole conspiracy theory of they're acting at Hamilton is gone. If it turns out that those were the only two cars they checked and it was a random inspection and they had two cars like that, maybe they should have turned around and been like, we need to see the rest of the cars. We need to see what's going on here. Was it the track? Does the track need to be corrected for next year? Are we going to run into the same situation next year? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for showing up, and I hope you have a good day. And if you do, as I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. Is the FAA right? Are the FAA wrong? Have a good one.